Good evening, everybody. My name is John Carey, and I am your student's English teacher for this year. My back to school night presentation will talk a little bit about my philosophy as a teacher, and we'll talk about what we do in English 4, our seniors English class, as well as English 3, our juniors English class. First of all, how to reach me. My email address is careyj@cabrillo.k12.ca.us. My phone number is 650-712-7200. Email works better for me as I'm not in my classroom every day. And usually email I can respond within the day. Phone, it may be a little difficult. I have a 3-year-old at home, so it may be a little difficult for me to carve out some time to call you and get back to you, but email's probably the best way to reach me. Okay, my teaching approach. I teach juniors and seniors, so I expect them to be responsible and accountable. I expect them to complete tasks. I expect them to show up with the things that they need. The example that I like to use, ladies and gents, is, if you show up to a construction site without any tools, what are you going to build? Absolutely nothing. Okay. The reason I believe that they need to be responsible and accountable is because I teach juniors and seniors. They're, particularly with the seniors, they're just a few months away from being out in the real world. So, accountability is very important. I know in my own life, here at home, if I'm asked to do something, I can't necessarily put that off until next week or next month. Like the example I like to use with my students is, find me another point in the world where you will be asked to do something in August and you'll be allowed to do it in December. It's just not realistic. So, I do understand that there are situations that come up in our lives where it may not be possible for us to complete a task that's due tomorrow. In that case, I ask them to advocate for themselves, aka speak up. Do so the day of, not a week later. Don't come to me, in September about an assignment that was due in August and say, well, I didn't have the internet that day. Well, find a way to get it done. Don't give up. That's the worst thing that a student can do, is just shut things down and say, well, this has gotten in my way. As we know in life, sometimes we have difficulties to overcome, and we have to find a way to work through things. I think that's a life skill that's way more valuable than anything I can teach them in an English class. Okay, my experience. I'm in my 23rd year at Half Moon Bay High. Students that have moved on to college and on to life have come back to me and told me that my style of teaching, my holding them accountable, my keeping them responsible, has really paid off for them. They said that they've gone on to college and been successful because they're able to meet deadlines and they're able to plan out time management and things like that. Also in my classes, I do mini lessons on life skills, just important things that I think are valuable in real life. How to do laundry, how to shop for yourself, how to budget for a month. Things like that are really important skills that they need for life. And, one of the things that I like to tell them is, reading and writing and communicating is incredibly important, but no one's ever going to ask them, about a particular character in a book, for the rest of their lives. It might come up in a conversation, but it's not going to be a valuable thing. Some of our life skills lessons are very valuable things that they can take with them. Okay, so for my seniors, what we do, we are part of an ERWC curriculum. The ERWC was designed by Cal State University professors. and it establishes a baseline of ability and pays off in CSU acceptance. One of the beautiful things is they decided about 12, 15 years ago that incoming freshmen at CSUs had um, holes in their abilities. So they designed curriculum to fill those holes. The beautiful thing about that is, moving on to this next point here, because there is an ERWC attached to this class, if they are accepted in a Cal State University, they are automatically placed in a particular level of English course. Okay, in the past, there used to be a placement test. And if a student wasn't feeling that well that day, or if a student, had a really stressful drive to go take the placement test, or anything that could possibly affect their performance, those students suffered because they didn't do well, and they were put in a placement, English placement that was below their ability. Okay, because they're in ERWC, the CSUs will place them in a particular level. That saves you time as a student. That saves you money as a student because you're in where you're supposed to be. You're not taking classes to pass a class, to take the class that you need to graduate. Okay, I hope that's clear. Some senior units of study. We have a justice unit that we're currently in. That's an ERWC unit. We have a 1984. We'll read 1984 by George Orwell, and we'll start that over the next couple of weeks. There's an ERWC unit as well. Hamlet by William Shakespeare. So your students will, at some point during the semester, will be asked to memorize some Shakespeare. So, you'll probably have one of your students walking around the house saying "to be or not to be" or something in that vein. Okay, we do in the second semester, we do a writing for change unit. A couple of years ago, I went to a writers conference in San Francisco, and there was a big presentation on writing for change, and the students will get an opportunity to, kind of do some writing and some speaking on a topic that's important to them, something that they want to see changed in the world, whether it be our justice system, or rights of people in a foreign country, or some students in the past have taken on all sorts of different social justice causes. Okay, one flew over the cuckoo's nest, and we have the senior exit project. The senior exit project is a little bit later on in our second semester, and it's a research-based project where the students have a research component, and then there's a community component where they go out and they interview people that actually do something connected to their topic. And ideally, hopefully, fingers crossed, with the whole COVID-19 situation, ideally these young men and women get a chance to go out and experience their topic in person. Okay, and then the bottom, kind of here, blocked by my camera here, the Lions Club and the Rotary Club and the Chamber of Commerce do speakers. They do guest speakers with us for a week. They send in some people that talked about life, kind of things, getting a job, holding a job, tips for interviews, tips for resumes, things like that. But also there's a whole different side to this week that they do with the Chamber of Commerce, where they talk about how to keep yourself safe online, how to financially plan for your future, different things like that are really valuable. Okay, if your student is in my English 3 class, my juniors, it's American literature. There are some units of study. Throughout all of these units, there'll be reading, writing, speaking components. The Crucible by Arthur Miller is the unit we're in currently. We'll study the Romanticism movement with authors like Edgar Allan Poe, Washington Irving, James Fenimore Cooper. We'll read 12 Years a Slave by Solomon Northup, which is an amazing memoir written by a man who some of you may have seen the movie. but it was written by a man who was captured as an adult and sold into slavery and spent 12 years in the Deep South as a slave. Great Gatsby, classic American literature. We'll do a Harlem Renaissance poetry unit where we get into the movement of the Harlem Renaissance, the artistic movement, as well as some poetry. We'll have a book called Montana 1948, post World War II. A great story. It's the book through the course of the year that all the kids say, oh, this one's the one I've actually read. And then we finish the year with a unit that goes with Fences, a play by August Wilson. And that is our presentation for today, folks. So again, if I'm enthused about you teaching your student this year, and if you have any questions or any concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you.